This is the AI automation that Google teaches their employees, and I'm going to walk you through it in this video. If you are new to the channel, my name is Mustafa. I am an in-training AI automation consultant, and I'm going to walk you through everything I've learned in this course. Also, quick heads up, at the end of this video, there will be an assessment discussing the things that we've learned in this video, because research shows that the number one way to retain information is to go through it and assess yourself after visiting it. So, pay attention. First up is the framework. Google has this framework that consists of 5 steps, which is task, context, references, evaluate, and iterate, with each one having more sub-steps and getting more complex as we go down. The first one is task. Task is simply the instructions you give to the AI tool of what task you want to achieve, and it consists of 2 sub-steps. The first one is a persona. The persona could be what you are, your job role, or the thing you want to learn from, or you can ask the AI to take on a persona of some sort of expert in a field. For an example, you could say something along the lines of, I am the owner of an e-commerce clothing company, and I am launching a new drop in the next 6 months, and I'm looking for pricing structures. Give me 5 pricing structures listed as a table of pros and cons. So that first bit is the persona, and that last bit is the second subpart, which is the format. The format is simply how you want the results to appear. Do you want to be in a table with pros and cons? Do you want it to be in just a bulleted list, nice and simple? If you leave it blank, the AI tool will give you some very good results. But a good idea to keep in mind with AI tools in general is the less room you leave for ambiguity, the more precise the results you get will be, and the more applicable they will be as well. The second part is C, for context. Context is just the extra information you add to the AI tool so it understands your task better. So in this example of the owner of an e-commerce clothing company, context could be what kind of clothing you sell, the current prices, how long you've been in business for, and it's information about the business. This is the prompt how it was before, and this is the prompt now with context added. And the thing is with AI tools, they have access to such a large pool of data and information. So the more context you add by giving it a persona, by telling it about your company, it helps narrow down what data field it needs to search through. So not only does it spend less tokens to try and get your results, but also it will get you more precise results that are more relevant to you because it's having to scan through less. So it's spending less time scanning and more time thinking about the idea you're giving it. Another example of context, let's say you're buying your friend a birthday gift. People usually put on prompts such as, give me some ideas for a birthday gift under £30. Which is not a bad prompt, but the result would be very generic. However, by adding context and taking the prompt from what it was into this, give me 5 ideas for a birthday gift. My budget is £30. The gift is for a 29-year-old who loves football and supports teams such as Madrid and has a soft spot of the Premier League team Newcastle, and they recently suffered an injury where they can't play football for 2 weeks. The AI tool now knows what to niche down to, what teams to look for gifts from, as well as knows to avoid physical gifts because the person can't play football and they probably can't do other physical things as well. Again, it's giving it more information so that the AI tools knows what you want from it. And thirdly, you have references. References are extra information you give to the AI tool to refer to when making a decision or making an output, but is not part of the initial input or part of the task itself. What I mean by that is, let's go back to the e-commerce clothing brand example. References could be previous pricing structures you have used in the past and how successful they've been or have not been, or you can put in similar brands or competitors that have similar products to you and you wanted to sort of look at what they're doing and ask for the opinion on it. And there are 3 main ways of doing references. The first one is transitional phrasing. You put your prompt as you would normally, followed by some sort of phrase such as, refer to these materials, or use the following examples. The idea is you want the AI tool to know this is a reference and not part of the prompt instructions. So using a transitional phrase just really helps to separate that. Alternatively, you can use headings. Headings are really useful if you have multiple references, and it's as simple as it sounds. You would have a heading of like a title with the reference below it. And this is useful if you're working with studies or you're putting in with multiple references, like 3 or more, so it helps separate it and lets the AI tool know that these are references to refer to. Lastly is XML tags. This sounds a bit codey and fancy, but it's that simple. When you put in your reference, you start off with a pointy bracket, example 01, followed by your example or reference, then end it, then you put in pointy bracket dash example 01. This, again, just really lets the AI tool know that this is a reference. It's almost like a piece of code that truly separates the prompt from the references themselves. And also things called markdown tags that personally I've never used, to be honest. Some people do. Markdown tags are just a way to keep the formatting of the text, like whether it's bold or underlined or italic, within the prompt itself. If you want to use it, just Google markdown tags and get a list of how to input them. I don't find them useful myself. Some people do. You can try them out in spare time if you would like. And the last 2 steps kind of go hand in hand. It's evaluate and iterate. Evaluate is just simply looking at your prompt and asking yourself, did I get the results that I wanted out of this prompt? If yes, perfect, task's done, good job. If not, you then move on to the next step, which is iterating, where you would adjust the prompt or just variables within it to get the better results. And there are 4 main iteration methods. The first one is revisiting your prompt framework. This could be maybe adjusting your task, maybe adding more context so the AI tool understands you better, or it could be adding more references, maybe less references. The perfect amount of references is between 5 and 7 from my experience. Anything less than 5, and there still is a lot of room for ambiguity and imagination on the AI's behalf, which can be useful if you're working on a creative task. Anything more than 10, you are beginning to niche down the results so far that you're pretty much only getting results that are within those like 10 references. But yeah, so we revisit the framework and see what you can adjust to make it more clear to the tool. Number 2 is separate your prompts into shorter sentences. The thing is with AI, it's very similar to humans in more ways than we like to admit. And usually if you give someone a massive task, they might struggle to power through it, or it'll be overwhelming, or it'll be too much info at once. But if you break that task down into multiple smaller steps that you do bit by bit, it becomes way more manageable and becomes, in a way, a bunch of smaller tasks that each one are individually very easy. You can try that with AI. For example, when making the title for this YouTube video, instead of putting one massive prompt, I started off with just simply saying what my channel is and what I'm doing. And then after giving that context, I made a separate follow-up prompt talking about the YouTubers that I like the titles of and the style of, as well with some references. And then I asked the AI tool to edit them based on my own tone and personality, and got the final title for the video you are seeing now. By separating the prompts, each step became very easy for the AI tool to do, and able to get very good results out of it. Something you should try as well if you are struggling to get results with the previous 4 steps. Number 3 is trying out a different task with the same purpose. For example, let's say you're working on a marketing plan, and you're asking the AI tool to generate a marketing plan for your social media campaign. You can adjust the task and have it go from what it was to write a story about how this product fits into the life of our target customer demographic. The task is an entirely different task, but the output is essentially the same. It's giving you something you can use for your media campaigns, for your marketing campaigns. It's the same goal, but a different way of positioning a task that's within the capability of the AI tool. And number 4, and I gotta say, this has been, for me, the biggest game changer, and it's introducing constraints. I always ask AI tools for like recommendations for movies or musics, and I'll put in everything perfectly, like the perfect task with the context of who I am, with the list of movies that I currently like and directors that I like, but will give me things that I've already seen. But by adding constraints, I get recommendations for things I haven't seen. Like by filtering, I can say, don't add films by the following directors or films from the following years. And that helped narrow it down to give me results from people I haven't seen. Let's say you're trying to come up with new suggestions for music. Same thing. Name the artist that you already know that you don't want recommendations from, and let the AI tool filter. And this is really useful if you're like asking for video ideas, movie suggestions, activity list, trying to come up with new recipes. And the beauty of this as well is you can have like one conversation open and keep updating it, and after like days and months and years, I know it sounds like a really long time, but by always referring back to that same chat that already knows your previous video ideas, or you know what videos you posted before, you can get recommendations that are always new. It knows exactly what not to re-recommend, which for me has been a big game changer, to be honest. And that's the main framework. Those 5 steps, nice and simple. If you incorporate each one to its limit, you would get extremely good results. And here is your assessment. Try your best to recall this information from your brain without referring to the video. If you have to, then go ahead, of course. And you can do it down in the comments down below, which I'll be honest, that's the most beneficial way for me, helps with engagement. But you can do it in the Notes app or in a pen and paper if you're old school kind of person, whichever best suits you. And that's the end of the video. Any questions, feel free to put in the comments down below. Always happy to help or give some advice. And thank you for your time and attention. It's a valuable resource and I appreciate you giving it to me. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.